Hey folks, how we doing? It's been a while since I put anything up. It was before Christmas. Just figured I'd make a little video just to catch up on some loose ends, let you know what I was doing with stuff. I did have some work coming in, but I also was busy. You know, a couple of family medical issues. You know, my dad's on in years now, stuff like that. I got pretty sick right after Christmas. I was on my back. In fact, I still, you know, not 100%. I was feeling crap. I was on my back for, you know, a week or so. And the temperature's been pretty cold here, stuff like that. Again, I'm right outside of New York City. You know, we've had a few days that were single digits. We did have a couple of snowstorms, this and that. In fact, we had a little more today. But I just wanted to let you know where I was at, just tie up some loose ends as to what I did. I know I was telling you about my saw I did, and then my welder. Just figured I'd tie it all up, let you know how things are going. I did have a couple of jobs. In fact, let me see. Here's one here. This was my job that I wound up doing for today. I'm going to come back to this because I have some questions that maybe everybody can kind of jump in on and assist with on some of this. Yeah, so let me come back to that. I've been doing some, you know, a little bit of work. You can see here I'm doing a little bit of some HeliArc jobs, this and that in the shop. Oh yes, let's start here. This again, to tie up loose ends. This is the old, whoops, still leaking. This is the old fuel pump off of the off my engine drive welder. I did change it, so that's that. In fact, let's go outside and let's see. I guess I can probably. You can see we had a little bit of snow. This is the first day. We had some brutal cold here actually for our area. It's just around freezing, which might explain some of this fog and stuff. Anyway, here's the welder. It's back on the truck now. You can see, as I explained, how very, very tight it is to the cab and to the body here. Let's see. But anyway, let's see. Let me see. Can I do this one-handed? We'll glow plug it and see if she'll start. I've actually got it parked the way it is near the shop here, so that if need be, I can utilize the plug for the block heater. Let's see if she fires. There we go. It does put out some smoke. Oh yes, I did route oh boy, the vent tube, I routed that down and ran it in between the body. This is of course my plug. Like I said, it's right around freezing. I figured shouldn't be necessary. In fact, this was kind of a test. It's been sitting all day. Just wanted to make sure that, you know, it would, and again, it fires pretty good. It goes off, you know, let's see, let's speed it up a little. That's enough of that. I'm satisfied. It fires. So that's that. Let me bring it back inside. My forklift, I'm sure I'm going to have to put the battery charger on that when that sits for a while. That's that. Oh, the saw. I'm telling you, the saw. The saw, I think. The loose end on the saw, if you remember when I did the video, I said I wanted to at least put something on here because they had that square open part which was right into the fan, and the fan is plastic, so that loose end is tied up. In fact, a buddy of mine, Kevin, if you're watching, thanks. A buddy of mine was watching the video and said, hey, I think I have a piece of screen that would fit right in there, and he gave it to me. No, I didn't put a proper electrical block off in there, and you know what, I'm not really all that concerned with it. It's good. It's going to be great. So that's about it on the loose ends, I think. Now, let me move into this. This is where my query is going to come. This, I wanted to video this actually, and I just again, I'm often under the gun with this stuff. You know, the customer is going crazy and they're waiting. You know, so I just couldn't. So what had happened here? This is a carrier. I guess that's what you call a carrier for a ring gear on a big Caterpillar 988 wheel loader. And this bearing, this is the bearing that would be on here, had actually, I guess, let loose and ground down, wore down this, let me tip this thing up. In other words, I guess that's essentially, it would be vertical, you know, on there, like this. It cut loose and it actually wore into this thing. My goodness, there was almost, oh geez, I don't know. Well, you can see the sleeve I put. Let me see, let me kind of zoom in here. You can see just that parting line there. It wore into this thing almost, geez, I don't know, 150 thousandths or something like that. So obviously that was no good. So essentially what I had to do was I had to grab it and you know, hold, you know, machine it down and fit a sleeve. You can see I made the sleeve. Let's see, can I get in here? Yeah, yeah, you can see I made the sleeve down in here with a shoulder actually. You can just see the, yeah, I put like almost a 1/4 inch shoulder on it, and I was able to, there was enough room because it also, it ground its way into all of the structural part here. So I made I just smoothed, you know, I faced it off and then made a sleeve that I did, you know, press, you know, I pressed on there. This is where the query comes. This was tricky for me, and the reason being, obviously, as you can see, I had to machine this side, so there was no, because of the depth of this, there was no good way, there's no way to hold it inside, as you can see, because it's a continuous taper in here. I guess something goes in here. It's a continuous, you know, like a round end ball sort of, you know, concave surface. There's no way to hold it there. And the outside, though it's got this nice, I don't know, what would you call it, Gliptol or, you know, whatever. There's no good way to hold it here. There's a machine surface here, but again, it's just too far away. Same thing here. So I'm hoping everybody's watching, guys like, you know, Tom and Adam, either of the Keiths, both the Keiths, I should say. This is the query, is how someone, this is the pitfalls for a guy like me, being completely I don't even want to use the word taught, self-guessed, self-whatever, you know, self-instructed, whatever, self-thrust into this. Again, Adam, buddy, if you're watching, I'm sure you would have been easily able to hold this in a 4-jaw, and it would have been excellent. You would have hit it right on. But my problem was that I'm not terribly confident with the 4-jaw, and I knew I was going to have to return this thing once. I knew I would have to do it, machine it, clean it up, get it down to a consistent surface, and then be able to take the sleeve, you know, make the sleeve, because I wanted a nice tight press fit on the sleeve part, you know, make the sleeve, put the sleeve on, and then naturally, you know, press it in, and then I was going to have to return it essentially to the exact same spot and then turn the outside of that sleeve to fit this bearing. I mean, yeah, it's a big bearing, it's a 4.5 inch bearing, but still, it's a roller bearing and it's got to have a pretty good fit. So again, my confidence level was not such that I could accurately get this into a 4-jaw in the same spot twice. Now, the problem being, yeah, this is kind of, you know, this is a machine surface, and so is this, but they're not, I know you're not here with me, but they're not all that consistent to feel. And this surface, again, it's just a raw casting, and even here, it's not, yeah, I know you can see these little bumps, but even throughout this whole thing, it's not a consistent surface, which created another problem. How do I indicate this thing in? In here, let's zoom in. It's kind of machined, but it's not great. I mean, it's machined, but it's kind of rough. Also, what happened, I believe, probably as part of as incurred by the damage, it's a lesser diameter here than it is back here. It's like 6/1000ths difference between here and there. So again, not being terribly skilled, you know, or confident myself to do this, pull this off with a 4-jaw twice, what I elected to do, I still have it in the lathe here, was I made an arbor to put it on, and that to me seemed to be about the best way. So what I did was I made the arbor, made it a very, very tight, a slip fit, but a very tight fit based on the smallest diameter of here. And then I used this face of this. Again, once I put this in, I didn't need to disturb it. You know, I made it so that obviously this would go in and stay. So once I machined this, and this face, naturally, you know, the machine's running the center line, I made it that way so that that would come through here, and then that shoulder would bear on this shoulder here. So I did that. In fact, here, if you look in here, let me zoom in a little. You can see well, let me block that off a little. You can see again, it's machined, but it's a rough machined surface. So there again, indicating was kind of guess my best. So that's again the reason I elected to do it the way I did. So I think it came out actually very well. I'm very, very happy with the way it came out. I purposely put it on there, did my best to kind of indicate it on the surfaces that I could, this surface, and then kind of in the bore here. And then I purposely took it off and I returned it back on and spun it around a little bit, you know, and then fitted it back on and made sure I came up with the same readings again. And, you know, I did that a couple of times, and I did. So that's why I felt confident going forward with that method. And that was how I wound up doing the job. So anyway, yeah, that was where I was, and that's how I wound up doing it. And I got to tell you, I'm very happy with the way it came out. I think it came out really well. But I guess my inquiries are, you know, again, I know you're not here to look at it, but you know, again, any input is welcome as to how you guys might, especially like I said, I'm thinking Adam, you know, being the Sultan, as I like to call you, of the 4-jaw. You know, would you have been relatively confident, you know, just putting this thing in there and then feeling as though you could have returned it back in there? And another part of my question is, on a bearing, I know it's a large bearing, but it's still a roller bearing, or yeah, ball bearing, roller bearing, whatever you want, whatever you call it, I guess. The fits on some of these, I'm sure I could probably find some sort of rule of thumb if I was to look it up in the Machinery's Handbook or something. But I wonder, I'm sure there are acceptable interference fits on these. I wound up going on this, again, it is a 4.5-inch bearing, but I just didn't want to over press it. The sleeve, of course, I wanted a very, very tight press fit, so I did that. I made it about 3/1000 interference. But you know, once I returned it to the arbor and machined it for the bearing, I generally tend on bearings, I think, I don't know, about 1/1000th or so. So what I did was I machined it to 1/1000th over, and then I just kind of polished it, and I brought it down to about 7/10ths over the bearing, you know, the inner bearing race size, and it squeezed on there just pretty as you please. I mean, it's beautiful, and I don't, you know, I think it's going to be fine, but yeah, just curious on that. So again, any input would be welcome. In fact, I was thinking, you know, maybe, hey Tom, if you could, maybe you could squeeze that into one of your, you know, short Roach Coach or Meatloaf episodes. The proper amount of interference, if there's a rule of thumb based on size, you know, as to amount of interference or something. But that was what I went. Again, I think we got a complete success here. I think the customer's going to be very happy, you know, with this. And the price of this from Caterpillar, they told me, is almost $4,000. So again, they said, look, Mike, do what you can with this as fast as you can and whatever you can. So, you know, I felt I could do something with it. Again, what I was uncertain about, again, was how was I going to hold this thing? So again, I guess that's kind of my queries is, you know, and again, input is welcome. To quote Shop Dog Sam, leave a comment. So yeah, that's my inquiries. So, okay, that's about it. That's all. I just wanted to know that. And so I just wanted to put this up, again, just to show you what I've been doing with the loose ends, and just a little update, and that's about it. So hopefully I'll be having some other stuff coming up soon, and I'll be putting that up. So again, thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate it, and hopefully I'll have something back out there soon. And of course, as some famous guy once said, everybody polka.